for Dreaming for the Future. I'm on the most anticipated short story of the novel, which is the last one, in Argonauts Atonement. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm already on page like 2, 3 of the short story. Should I like start over for you guys? Nah. I don't got no viewers. Let's start. Oh, welcome, Walt Morales. Let's see. He flips over his drenched pillow and grabs a cigarette, which is crafted out of... Oh, yeah, I remember. That was actually really cool. He has a cigarette that lights itself. That's so dope! I'm working. All right. He lifts it to his lips and smokes it. Tasteless nicotine fills his lungs and calms his nerves. He pulls it away from his lips and he opens his mouth. Glinting smoke leaves his lips and returns to his dim world. He claps his bony hands. This is the story we're reading. As the last hope for dying Earth, 2 modern-day Argonauts fight one another in space for survival. Silk. Whoa, there's writing on the back of this. Oh my god. I wrote on the back of this. Damn, this book is so sensitive. I did not know. I had a receipt paper over it and I had to write something. And it printed on the back cover of my book. That's whack. That's whack as hell. He claps his bony hands and wall panels of red, white, and blue illuminating triangles flick on. He rests his bruised feet on the copper ground. I can't keep doing this. And a record player on a quartz table turns on. It spins a pink vinyl, and another weekend by Ariel Pink takes his mind off the dream. As he yawns with strep throat, a shutter window opens above him. Ha! This fool is still going through strep throat? What year is it? They haven't figured out how to solve strep throat? I'm gonna get kicked out for yelling. Oh yeah. Where's the cameras anyway? I don't see any. Are there no cameras over here? No way. There actually might not be any cameras over here. Huh. That's crazy. Oh. Let's continue. As he yawns with strep... Okay. A thin sheet of glass separates him in the expanse of outer space. Ooh, that was a good line. Far from home, he longs for the blue marble. I can't keep doing this. But he has no choice as he looks at the shelves, which hold hologram portraits of his loved ones. I failed some. He chokes up, but Urano with his slender... Wait, but I can't... He chokes up, but I can't fail them. He steps off the hammock and shuffles to a wall urinal with his slender feet. I have to keep doing this for them. A bowl of stale cereal and rotten milk floats by him. I should eat. Is he floating too? Or is he walking? Because it says he got out of his hammock earlier. Huh. Oh, yeah, he is flying. He grabs the cereal and looks down at it, as slow as a turtle. His twiggy fingers brushes along the rough grain and he loses his appetite. Later, He lets go of it and it drifts towards his hammock. He leans against the urinal panting. 20 heavy steps stole the air out of his lungs. He knows the problem, but he doesn't know what to do about it. What would Mads do? In the year 2023, mankind has 20 years left until Earth becomes uninhabitable. No one wanted or survived to protect nature, so nature retaliated. Hurricanes tore down metropolises and volcanoes consumed the wonders of the world. Floods swept human masses away and blizzards killed off the improvised. Dust storms ate up most of Earth's food supplies and droughts dried up Earth's mouth. Earthquakes split apart countries and wildfires exterminated most species, sparing mankind for last. That's crazy. From August 1st to November 13th of that year, they skipped my birthday again. Earth launched parts of its second International Space Station into space in 4 shuttles. Space shuttle after space shuttle, Apollo, Juno, Neptune, and Minerva aligned themselves with the stars across the globe. Turquoise aluminum space shuttles hurled from their world into the next for a new home. People from all corners of the world taped their faces to some kind of screen on the launching days. Cramped homes, packed public squares, and jammed TV stories played the launches. The spectators' mouths repeated the countdowns, their hearts pounded with the crackling engines, and their eyes never left the ascensions for a second. Their bodies quivered from the bright pillars of fire that lit the space shuttles. Okay. The spectators' mouths repeated the countdowns. Their hearts pounded with the cackling. Okay. Their hope rose with the departing shuttles, and they grew still. The Apollo, Juno, Neptune, and Minerva stretched out Jacob's ladder in red smoke across the sky. Ladder in red smoke across the sky. Once each space shuttle opened the cloudy heavens and disappeared in them, the spectators bathed again and cheered. The world celebrated for weeks as mankind crossed the bridge between the impossible and possible. The space shuttles departed from Earth and via satellite cameras. The world observed the next part in their salvation. The space shuttles mounted Jacob's ladder and switched off their engines. They drifted to the gap between Earth and Venus and assembled the second ISS within a month. Nicknamed the Argo, Automatic Robotic Guidance Object, the new space station surpassed the old ISS twice in size and with never-before-seen technology. The crew members from the space shuttles embark in the Argo and initiate the third part of the journey. The 195 crew members of the Argo represented every country in the world. Codenamed as Argonauts of the fictional Argo, they ventured to make history. All of them functioned as robots that are connected to the Argo, except for 2, Commander Jason and Sergeant Heracles. Staticky voices buzzed from the robots' alloyed faces. Their stiff movements, lack of personality, and glass eye reminded Heracles and Jason something. Being the only humans on board, it sometimes felt like it was just them. Mankind viewed it as a simulation between man and AI. For them, it was loneliness. What am I reading? Dreaming for the Future by Joseph Lawrence. He's a friend of mine. He wrote this short novelette. It's about 148 pages. And it's got like 4 short stories in here. And it turns out they're connected in some way. I haven't really figured out what. But they have like little hints throughout each story that like shouts out the previous story. So this one should maybe shout out Carrie, Charlie. So, by the way, I should talk about, because I finished that story. Nicknamed what would Mads do? Argo. Where am I? Okay, I think that's where I am. Okay. What do I rate the third story in this book? Which is basically Carrie. What if Carrie had ice superpowers? That's basically what the third story is. So it's very much like Carrie. However, the twist was interesting. I give the story. I don't know if I want to give it a 3. I think I'm gonna give it a 3.5. Because like, I mean, it's Carrie. Carrie's a good story. I gave Carrie a 4 out of 5. I don't mind giving Carrie a 5 out of 5, but Carrie's disgusting sometimes. And the message, I don't agree with Vengeance. So, but I understood her. It's a 4 out of 5. Carrie's a 4 out of 5. But the Monarch monster is like a 3 out of 5. I like the cops. Every story is like a 3 out of 5. My least favorite is still the first story. And then Carrie. And then the sex worker. What was wrong with the Carrie story? It just reminded me too much of Carrie. So I took off points. Maybe I'm an asshole for that because he's my friend, but I want him to be the best writer in the world. So of course I'm going to be hard. I want you to be the best, bro. I want my friends to be the best people on the universe, bro. Like, come on. Let's continue. Alloyed faces, their stiff movements, lack of personality, and glass eye reminded Heracles and Jason something. Being the only humans on board, it sometimes felt like it was just them. Mankind viewed it as assimilation between man and AI. For them, it was loneliness. Their mission, to inhabit a planet that emerged suddenly behind the sun. Labeled as L154220, the yellow planet spins as mankind's sanctuary. This golden fleece offered itself to mankind's future generations, and these modern-day Argonauts wasted no time to accept it. The Argonauts united mankind with the hope of a better tomorrow as they sailed first to the sun. Once there, it won't take long for them to land on the planet, live on it for a year, adapt and study its environment, record it, deem it habitable or not, and set up colonies. If habitable, Earth will send more people to L154220 every summer until the end of days on Earth. Even though the Argo left satellite range, humanity still observed the journey with cameras on the ship. During the first month, the Argonauts accomplished an amazing feat: unity. Every country's flags paint the Argonauts' jumpsuits, and they somehow blend well together. I get it. I can't help but think that this is LGBTQ representation. So there better be a reason as to why this kid is painted like an LGBTQ so heavy supporter. I don't mind it. I think this is a dope cover. Dope cover. But I'm just curious, like why he's so colorful. But it says right here in the story that their suits are like, they have a bunch of flags from every nation of the world. That's not what I see right here. That's not what that looks like. So maybe it's a different suit they're talking about. Halfway to the sun, the Snow White space station switched off its propellers, labeled as their nymphs, and floated towards the dwarf star. According to the principles of physics, the Argo would revolve around the largest force in the area, the sun, and they will align with L154220 in a few weeks. Saving energy and gas, the Argo currently spins around the sun for its 14th day to reach the Golden Fleece. Conversing in aluminum modules, which are decked in each country's culture, the main stars of this show, Jason and Heracles, share cups of mint tea, floating by the clear starboard view and jam to all genres of music. Checking the Argo status in the cockpit of colorful floor panels, Olympus, Heracles. I think it's Heracles. And Jason video call each other's families and loved ones. Working in greenlit laboratories, Thera, they boost science centuries ahead. Gathering in the processing facility, Colchis, they cheer for every team in the 2024 Olympics. However, with whispers, quick glances, off-camera taunts, and written notes, they continue to despise one another. On top of their hectic days and overwhelming duties, they prick each other with hate for their suit's symbolism. The real fighting erupts in a blank module that connects Sinope, the docking bay, the Hellespont, the airlocks, and Olympus. With no cameras there, the ship's dark side lies as a ring for two men from two different worlds. Their futile clashes strike this time of the day like clockwork. Hold on, what? What? That's crazy. Let me reread that. It says here, the real fighting erupts in a blank module that connects Sinope, the docking bay, the Hellespont, the airlocks, and Olympus. With no cameras there, the ship's dark side lies as a ring for two men from two different worlds. Their futile clashes strike this time on the day like clockwork. A bold rainbow that showcases an ivory plus sign as an arm patch. What? Versus. Oh. Yellow and white halves that uphold an ancient coat of arms on the chest. They beat one another with heated arguments, and it all started with a smart-ass remark made by Heracles. Ever since, neither of them leaves the ring until one is left for dead and drenched in shame. For Jason, it's not being seen as a real man. For Heracles, it's being labeled as a fake Christian. And as always, the Argo notifies proximate Argonauts. With the secret code of ones and zeros. They rush to the dark side and break up these fights before they become overboard and turn into physical violence. They stand between their leaders and cancel the match. Today, Jason and Heracles levitate off the silvery floor and wrestle in midair. Jason stands victorious but remains the same in the eyes of Heracles, a sinner. How dare you lead our mission, Heracles snarls this time. He spits at Jason, knowing well that his droplets of saliva won't reach his face. He hates Jason's feminine face, and Jason loathes his crater face and miraculous metal. Jason pushes Heracles away from him, and they both crash into the module's walls. Jason gives him the finger, says in a raspy voice, "I'll have your ass fried after this. How dare you attempt to sabotage this mission? You're not a man or a leader. You're not worthy to lead this mission." Jason sighs and says, "You're not an Argonaut. You're ignorant." Ooh, that's funny. "I gave my life to this mission, so yes, I am an Argonaut," Heracles shouts back. "Same as me. What makes me different? You're misguiding the world with your sinful agenda. You too. So much for loving your neighbor, you hypocrite. Say that to my face. I'll snap you like a fucking twig." The Argo's top engineers, Zetes and Calais, hop into the module and restrain them on separate walls. Oh. They give them time to cool down, and the match ends as a draw. The fighters, like always, tell themselves they won. Built from refuge camps in Jordan and Kenya, Zetes and Calais speak in their leaders' primary languages with heavy accents. Commander Argo will be in the orbit of L15422 in 5 hours. Orders, Zetes asks. Jason does the math in his head, and Heracles bursts out, "At 1800, activate the nymphs and prep Orpheus." Jason snaps his fingers and Calais clamps Heracles' mouth shut. Jason takes in a deep breath and Zetes straightens his position. "Anything else, sir?" Zetes asks. Jason breathes out. "That'll be all," Jason replies. Calais lifts his hand from Heracles and departs into an airlock with his counterpart. "You've received your orders, Sergeant," Jason reminds him. Heracles scoffs at Jason and disappears in Sinope. Jason clenches the ladder and leads up to Olympus, squeezing the rails. He stops halfway up the ladder and doesn't want to let go of the middle rail. Relieving all of the pressure onto it is soothing. His scorching anger for Heracles temporarily transfers into it. But once he climbs up the ladder and enters Olympus, the anger will return to him. No matter what, it will never depart from him. He almost falls asleep, but his faltering body wakes him up. I need some time away from him. He shakes it off and hops into the cockpit. Jason mellows down as he takes a spacewalk across the Argo's left wing. Heracles monitors him from the Olympus and turns the crew on him. The other Argonauts process Heracles as a cheery and loving person, always slapping his knees from terrible bad jokes and blaring his pearly whites. He's the pinnacle of compassion, while Jason, worn out from the stress of the mission, Heracles' harassment and other personal issues, is perceived as a grumpy, tense, and introverted commander. It's not like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders. Alright, I think we're gonna end it there. I have to go back to work. By the time I come back live, I bet you I would already finish this book. It was fun. I will give it a 3 out of 5. It's just that the Carrie story is too much like Carrie. The alien story is really fun. I just wish the bad guy was cooler, and I wish the focus was on more on the robot wanting to be free. Maybe she was trying to be free, but the author spends a lot of time training her to be a good dancer, which was interesting. That's just not the way I would have took it. The first one is cool. I just wish the characters had more of a build-up. So it is a 3 out of 5 so far. I still got about 39 pages left of the book. So who knows? Maybe it'll turn into a 5 out of 5. But I don't see that happening. But it's possible. This is my friend's first novel, and I'm very proud of him. He did a great job. I cannot wait to read what else Joseph Lawrence has in store. Have a good night, everybody. Have a good morning. Make lots of money. And remember, be a good